Hi. Hi there. I'm Kim Fuller. I am life coach and trauma expert. My business is Fuller Life Concepts, where I help you stay accountable to your goals. And what I'm doing is I'm hosting the Passion Cure with the High Priestess of Pleasure, Cherise Sisu, joining me today on this call. And what we decided is we would do a sneak peek on the Passion Cure because people have been showing interest in coming to the Passion Cure here in California, July 22nd. But they have some questions, so we thought we would just host like a sneak peek question and answer opportunity, so we can get the real scoop on what is to come at the Passion Cure when Cherise visits us here in California. So welcome, Cherise.
Hello, I'm happy to be here and excited. And I can't wait. I can't, like we were just talking about, I can't believe it's like 2 weeks out and I'm going to be there with you and I can hug you in
I
person.
know.
So that'll
Hi.
be really, yeah, that'll be really fun. So yeah, I'm a delight. This is one of my favorite topics. And the Passion Cure actually started as a Facebook challenge, where I gave a little tidbit each day for really reconnecting with and reawakening our passion. And I was like, this would be really fun live. So that's what we get to do.
Ah, so what made you even think to start a like a challenge on Facebook? I mean, how did that come about?
Well, to really, it was about like the passion piece, right? So the Facebook challenge was like, that was just kind of like the platform, and I had some friends who were doing it and I was like, oh, that sounds like fun, and it's a great
Mm-hmm.
way to sort of be online, connect with people live, right? Because I was doing like live interactions every day. um, but it's sort of, the seeds of it got planted a few years ago. I spoke at a women's conference. It was called Whole Self Nourish, just outside Chicago. It was a day-long event, and I had been invited to speak about passion. And the thing was that I came in with one talk prepared, but I ended up giving a different talk, and that
Oh,
was because, yeah. So like I came in. So my part of my story is, like there's lots of layers to my story, but part of my story was, I left corporate to become a professional belly dancer. So I was an accountant by day, and I was teaching by evening. I was performing on the weekends. I was selling dancewear to the belly dance community to fund my dance habit. And I just reached this point where I realized I would, it just like the bumper sticker, I'd rather be dancing, right? So I was just like, why am I still doing this? And I left corporate and did the dance full time, which was huge. Yeah, it was a huge leap. It was a huge leap, but it was a leap in the direction of my passion and pleasure. And one of the things that I noticed about that time when I was doing both was people would ask me all the time, like, how do you do it? Like, how do you spend all day? Because the backstory, like behind that, what even my coworkers didn't know was, or many of them didn't know, I was also going through a divorce at the time. So I was getting up at the crack of dawn, driving my kids to daycare, crying on my way to work,
mm-hmm.
working all day, and then picking up my kids, getting them like settled and fed, um, and then teaching, and then performing. Hey, ladies, welcome. So it was this huge cycle. And then on the weekends, performing, vending, you name it. So I was just going. And people would ask me all the time, how do you do it? Like, how are you
Mm-hmm.
finding the energy? And I was being so fed by living, breathing, and pursuing my passion. I was like, yeah, like it was, I wouldn't say easy, but it gave me the energy to do everything else. Even the stuff that was like not as exciting, like, I don't know, journal entries and balancing capital expenditures for a global manufacturing company. It was like I was so not an accountant, but that's how I made my living for a little bit. So fast forward, I was all prepared. Here I am at this event, and I'm thinking, hey ladies, so good to see you. Um, could. Hey, Kim, did you want to mute, or Jamie, if you could mute yourself, gorgeous tan goddess. Look at you right now, flaunting your Florida tan. That's okay. Go ahead. You do that. I know Kim's in California, and when I tell her about Chicago winter, she's like, "What?"
I don't
I
understand.
don't understand.
You don't have to.
It gets that cold there. Yeah.
I have no concept of
Talk
that.
about passion cure, man. Like without passion, we would just freeze to death over here. So
Cold is 60
so
degrees.
I know. And here I was just trying to talk about like the temperatures below zero that we get. And Kim was just like, it does not compute. No, that's not possible. But anyway, so how I got started talking about passion, this is the talk that I came in all prepared to deliver to that women's conference. I was like, this is how I pursued my passion. This is what it allowed me to do. Da, 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 da. So I was going to talk about following your passion. But I was scheduled as the last speaker of the day. So I had a lot of time during the day to just kind of walk around the room and talk to the ladies, see what was going on for them. And this is what I kept hearing over and over again. Passion. I don't even have time for passion. I don't have energy for passion. Passion, schmashin'. Okay. It was just like, they were curious, and they like, of course, who doesn't want more passion in their lives, right? But it was like, I got to take care of this first. I got to take care of this other thing first. Let me get more clients in my business. Let me, take care of the kids first. I mean, I've had conversations with clients where they're like, well, yeah, like the passion is completely dead in my relationship, but let me take care of these other things first. And then, right? So that was exactly the story that I was hearing from the ladies in the room, was that, like, to talk about how to follow your passion was like 3 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead of where the conversation really was. And so that's where the passion cure was really born, was like, whoa. Like, how do I just scale this back to the basics and say, how can we even begin reacquainting ourselves with our passion? And today I ended up writing a blog article actually about sort of all the reasons why we end up putting our passion in the back seat or shelving it. We get a lot of messages, a lot of messaging as we grow into womanhood. We get a lot of messages about our passion, right? Can anyone identify with this? Like, even if I say the word passion, like what automatically comes up?
What's interesting, Charisse, is one of the things I've been doing over the last few months is sharing the passion cure concept with networking groups and people, in general. Yeah. And, what's interesting is the men always perk up and get excited. I say, sorry, this is women only. And then the women always kind of like look at me like almost dead-eyed, like, and
like she's about to out me as a passionate creature.
Yes. And don't, like, almost like, don't make eye contact at Kim, because she might say you need to come, and then everybody's going to see me as, this sexual being that I'm trying to pretend I'm not. And I find that very interesting, because passion is bigger than just sexuality,
Yes, you hit it right on the head. So this is the issue, right? Is that here it is. Here, passion is like, it's like the doorway to our happiness, right? Mm-hmm. It's in between us and our pleasure, our happiness, our fun, and this and that. And like, what do we know about passion? Like, even just like, say you're talking in these business networks, right? What do we know about passion in our businesses? Like, there is nothing more attractive, more irresistible than someone who is passionate about what they do. Yeah. Like Jamie, who's online with us right now. Hello. Like, you get her started talking about like chanting for happiness. That is her actual blog, which is like amazing, followers all over the world. Or any of, oh my gosh, we could even get started. Just like any of the issues that we hold dear.
Yeah.
When we start talking about that stuff, it is like unbelievably irresistible, right? It's why we tune into TED Talks. It's why we are inspired by people. It's why we, make decisions. And yet, as women, this is exactly what's happened, is passion is equated with sexual passion. But for a woman to admit that she's a
No
sexual
way.
being,
No.
all right,
What's that?
exactly. Mic drop. Like it's like that conversation is over because we were taught long ago, like, well, okay, now it's important that you're sexy, but if you own it, then you're a slut.
Yeah.
And you're asked for it. And so there's all these, and I go into, oh my gosh, in this article today, I like go into more detail of the layers of shame
Mm-hmm.
and really it's shame that like layers and layers and layers over years. And then to try and come in and be like, follow your passion and all your dreams will come true and the money will flow in and blah, 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 blah.
You have too
And
much to get through.
that's how you end up with a room full of women looking at you like, passion. I don't know. I'm kind of scared.
So what's even more interesting, or more another layer, Cherise, and that's the women that I work with are dealing with some kind of trauma.
Yeah.
A lot of times it is a sexual trauma or a violent trauma that occurred at some point in their lives, which, you know, almost all of us have had. And so you put another layer on top of that, which is, you know, don't in any way bring attention to me because that brings vulnerability. And I know that when I'm vulnerable, I tend to be victimized. And so let me just wear like a sheath.
Yeah.
so the idea of passion can't even resonate because there's too many different things that cause shame and fear around it.
Yeah, it's like it goes beyond even that fear of being judged,
Yeah.
or that fear of being, you know, categorized as a fast woman or what have you. To, and the thing is, like, what's horrifying is that what woman hasn't experienced some level of trauma in this area?
Yeah.
I mean, I have been in rooms of hundreds of women, and I'll never forget to this day, like being in New York. I was at one of the meetings of the School of Womanly Arts, and so room full of about 400 women. And one woman got up and shared her story of incest, and we're all crying, and so moving. And Mama Gina turned her and said, you know, just lay a hand on her shoulder and said, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And then she looked around at the rest of the audience and she asked, like, I would just like to ask that every woman who has been assaulted, raped, who has experienced abuse, you know, in this area, please stand up. And would you know that almost every woman in that auditorium stood up? And I cried even harder because I was like, this is the lie that we've been sold. The lie that our shame is our own private shame, that it's just us. And the reality is that it's not. That is a lie. Every single woman on the planet has experienced some level of trespass, some level of, right? And so it does. It becomes that additional layer that we then need to pass through in order to get to our own pleasure and passion. And like the craziness of it is like, that's your secret sauce.
Yes.
Like that is like every woman who's like, oh gosh, you know, why can't I call in my beloved? Why can't I have more? I want more passion in my relationship. Or, you know, like I want more clients in my business. Like my clients come to me for all kinds of reasons. And the thing is like this central piece is connected to everything else. And this is what I've noticed is that we start shutting down parts of ourselves, right? We start shutting down like, ooh, like exactly like you said, like that's vulnerable, that's scary. I open myself up to danger, so I'm just going to shut that door. It takes energy to keep that door shut because this is our natural, like if you look at a young girl, a young kid, boy or girl, they're just like, wee, you know what I mean? Like they're just naked, run into the ocean froth. Like they don't give a shit. Like they're just free. And it isn't until like, and then one day they get the message like, bam.
Not okay.
Oh my God, cover yourself, right? Cover yourself. And you go like, what? How come he can show his nipples? I don't get it. You know what I mean? So It's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. But this is like, so this is the barrier,
Mhm.
and why the Passion Cure exists. Why I was like, this is, so it's like the work, all of the work that I do is around um, self-care for women, like
Yep.
really connecting with all of who we are. Because I believe that every woman has hidden, not untapped reserves.
Untapped. I like that.
Yeah, untapped reserves of power, untapped reserves of intelligence, wisdom, and untapped reserves of healing in her body, right? But what ends up happening is that we get almost divorced from our body at a very young age. Every little sidelong glance, every time someone shamed you for your body, every time you internalized a message about being not enough or too much or any of these things, we closed a door, we closed another door on these same reserves, right? So we're literally, well, sometimes literally
Mhm.
sitting on our power, right? Cut ourselves off from, I know, Jenny, you're laughing. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. That too, right? Is, and so how do we connect with that, right? How do we reintroduce vital parts of our own energy, wisdom, and healing so that we can go out and do what we're here to do? Because we all, each and every single one of us, has incredible impact to make here. There is no such thing as a woman whose life doesn't touch so many others
Right.
in her sphere, right? And it doesn't matter if it's just your your family, right?
Yep.
Or if you're a leader of movements, right? We are channels for that healing, that like righting the balance on the planet. And so how do we support that if we are cut off from our own energy and power? So this is just step one. Like that's where I was like, what, like, where do we begin? How do we even begin like scratching the surface of this in a way that doesn't feel like, oh my God, is she gonna make me take my clothes off or something? Like
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
Right? Like I don't
So
know.
even the so
Wow.
even the women who are interested in coming and have raised their hand just enough so I would notice them so that we could talk on the side afterward,
Yeah.
are still really concerned about
Yes.
having to be too exposed or too vulnerable. And of
Mm.
course, their initial reaction is exposed and vulnerable in terms of physical. We haven't even started to even discuss the emotional vulnerability that they are afraid of or ashamed of. And so there's a little bit of hesitation around like, yes, but no. Yes, but no. Around,
Right? So
how,
intrigued and
yes,
frightened at the same time. Yes.
yes, nail biter.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Absolutely. So here's the thing. One of my so there's a couple things. One of my gifts that I was just bestowed upon coming here was um people feel comfortable in my presence.
Mhm.
I have had, like, I will literally speak for 5 minutes at a networking event, for example, and I'll have a conversation with a woman, and she'll all of a sudden be sharing her life story with me, and kind of go, "Oh my God, I've never told anyone that." And the thing is, like, I get that a lot
Yeah,
because this is a safe place,
yeah.
right? As soon as people realize, like, no judgment, like none at all here, it's like, oh, okay, I can relax because really and truly, no judgment. And then the other side of that is I've been cultivating, facilitating women's circles for over a decade. And whether that looked like a belly dance class or whether that looked like, an after school program, I've learned a lot along the way in terms of how do we create from the outset safety, right? I've
Mhm.
never ask you to do anything that you don't, in your heart, is like a hell yes. Like, always, participation is optional. And I love to talk about, I don't know if you guys have seen the fried green tomatoes.
Hmm.
Yeah. So remember the scene where Kathy Bates' character is in this like women's empowerment group, and the leader of the group is like, "Okay, ladies," and her beautiful drawl, she's like, "All right, ladies, like take out your compacts and slip off your panties, and we're gonna take a look at the goods." And like all the women have to like put a mirror between their legs and like take a look at their girly bits. And I love Kathy's character because she's just kind of like, she gets this like stricken look and she's pressed against the wall and she kind of like edges her way out like, I am out of here, right? And so what I will tell you is like, I will never ask you to do that on a first date. And well, and really and truly, it's this is the power of sisterhood as well, right? So one is I have the safe space that I create, but also we're in this together. Yeah. So it's very different when you're in a space that's not competitive, right? Like as women, we've been taught to compete with each other.
Yeah.
We've been taught to kind of like give each other the up and down, right? But that's not the space that we create. That's not the space that I create and that we co-create together, which is one of, like I said, no judgment, no competition. And there is nothing more healing than looking in another woman's eyes and like realizing we have more in common than not. And like she's been there and she gets you. There's nothing like taking a chance and being a little vulnerable and having someone say, just like in that room when all of those women stood up and all of my
She froze, huh? Yeah. Hopefully she's not saying anything brilliant because we're missing it. Cherie, she froze. So, oh, let me see. Yes. I hope she notices that she froze. Let's let her know. Oh, she'll come back in a few moments. Nice to have you ladies joining us. I know you're on mute, so I will just talk. And one of the things that I think is exciting about the whole fact that I'm hosting Cherise here in California is because she's new to us here in California. So we cannot wait to have her come out and share her brilliance with us. Welcome back, Miss Cherise.
Thanks. I don't know what it is, but like I blow out all technology.
With your powerful energy and your passion.
Right, exactly. So one of the possible side effects might include. But anywho, yeah. So I could hear you talking. It was so cute. You were like, I hope you're not saying anything brilliant because and I was like, I can hear you. It's like I'm fine and I can't get up. Yeah, like so just to reassure you, it's not going to be like that scene in Fried Green Tomatoes, because I just invite you I invite you to take a chance, but it's always in safety. Does that make sense? So, and there's a real comfort and solidarity and sisterhood, and that's what I've found has been really powerful for me as a facilitator and also as a participant in women's circles is being stretched and being like, oh my God, I don't know. What was like going to my very first belly dance class? I was like, I was wearing about 15 layers. Like nobody is seeing any of this. Right? And like it was just over time as I saw other women just showing up being themselves, and no matter the age, size, etc. And I was like, I can do this. and the layers came off one by one, not in the first class, but over time. And the more that I allowed myself to be vulnerable, the more I grew. And I was inspired and empowered by the women around me. I was like, well, if she can do it, I
Mhm.
can do this. So, yes, I would just say, like, it's okay, breathe. I will never, ever, 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 ever ask you to do anything that you don't want to do.
What kind of things will you ask the audience to do?
Well, I'm not going to give away all my secrets.
No, not all, just one. Just a tidbit,
Um,
just a teaser.
a tidbit is like basically what we do is we start, like one of the things is like checking in with your body and just learning. When I talk about like key areas that especially we as women tend to hold a lot of tension, like for
Mhm.
example, like around our mouths,
Mhm.
right? So we're all like, I want more. I want to receive more. But our mouths are going, "Mm, mm," right? So we're kind of doing one of these, like, yeah, come here, come here, come here. No, 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 no. Go away, go away, go away. Come here, come here, come here. No, 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 right? So one of the pages in the book, for example, Passion Cure is how to recognize when we do that. Because this is the thing. Like we might be saying one thing, but our body is saying something entirely different. So I just provide like some checkpoints of ways that you can check in during the day, what body parts to check in with, and how to just tell. Am I holding tension? Am I saying something the opposite of what I truly desire? So,
Yeah.
so there's an example of like, so it's like totally non-threatening. But I had women come back and say, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea how much tension I was holding in my body. I had no
Right.
idea that this was the story that my body was telling me." Because this is the thing, like when we talk about those hidden reserves, right? Those untapped reserves, this is one of the things. And speaking of like to your point about the trauma, same thing, stored in our bodies. How do we
Yeah.
release that? How do
Mhm.
we release that and tap our wisdom, healing, and like reserves of energy? Like who couldn't use more energy? Who couldn't use more wisdom?
Oh,
Me,
yes.
right? Who can use more healing? Like it's all there. And she's just like, our bodies is just like, just waiting. Like, okay, whenever she's ready, I'm here. I'm available to you, but we just never really know how to tap that. And we actually learn how to distrust our bodies. We feel betrayed by our bodies because we've been told, that she doesn't smell very good, or that she's too hairy or too fat or too blah, 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 or not enough, blah, 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 blah. And so it just becomes like these little barriers between us and our own power. So the passion cure really is about connecting with your power. Are there any? I'm curious. So, like, I know that was one of the questions that came up for you. Is there anyone who's online who'd like to ask a question
Yes,
about
please do.
passion?
Just remember to
Because,
unmute yourself if you do have a question.
yeah, anyone? No one?
I have another.
Yeah,
So
bring it.
so as I share about, you coming out to on July 22nd to do the Passion Cure here in Southern California, one of the other curious, um, it gets asked in a very peculiar way, but the overarching question is, who else is going to be there? Like, who do you typically attract? What kind of a woman comes to these events? Like, is it going to be all the same type? Is it going to be super diverse? Like, what do I expect?
Only the most interesting, amazing women on the planet.
Yes, that's what I say.
I mean, I have to like. I'm only half joking because I have to say that the women who are attracted to this work, um, all walks of life, right? So, for example, I'm not about to freeze, am I? Okay, I'm just like, all right. So, for example, I host a monthly gathering of women, the Goddess Aqua Club, which is just open to the public, right? It's a meetup group. Anyone who wants to join can join. And everyone from bartenders to physical therapists, all levels of education, all races, all ages. Yeah. Um, Especially like the other night we had mother-daughter night. So we had, I would say, like from 15 up to like 50s and beyond, right? And I've had women in my workshops really of all ages. And I'm actually taking this work now to girls and teens as well. So um, diverse group. I tend to attract women who are open, right?
Mhm.
Like if you're even curious or even interested in this work, it's like you're a seeker,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you're like on the path. So um, what I found too is that often the connections between the women are really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
It's, like we're all sort of like keyed in at the same moment, and it'll be someone who's like sitting at that table who's holding a key that you didn't even know that you were missing. So it's really powerful when you bring women together to have, I call them level 12 conversations, like way past, hi, how are you? Way past like even the friend share to like let's go there, right?
Mhm.
Because for you to show up as all of who you are and offer your brilliance to the world, it's like this is what we got to do.
Mhm.
It's exciting, a little scary, but mostly exciting and fun. And I make it really painless. So like we'll just, make it as painless
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that. Um, any questions? Because I could keep going on and on.
yeah.
Hi.
Is that
It-
yeah, hey Jamie, how are you?
Where is this going to take place in California?
So it is going to be in Lakewood, California, which is right outside of Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, so Southern California, outside of Los Angeles.
And what is the date?
July 22nd. It's a Saturday.
It's coming right up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where are you in the country?
Oh well, I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida, but I'm a big fan of Charisse.
Oh, yes.
I just came on to just like soak up some Charisse energy.
I
Aw.
love it.
Say
My
hi.
I
pleasure.
love it.
Yeah.
Me too. So I was being really selfish and I said, hey, Charisse, why don't you come to California? And then we came up with this idea. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm like you. I want to soak up her energy too.
Aw.
I might be able to pull something together. She's coming to Florida too.
Oh, nice. Oh,
That'd be
nice.
fun. We should
I'm
totally do
building
that.
my tribe out here to see if we can do something. Yeah, yeah.
How fun will that be? Because like any woman who's gonna show up for that is like definitely someone you want to get to know. Do you know what I mean?
I'm meeting some phenomenal women, of course. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because like attracts like, baby.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I like it.
and how much? I do have some friends in LA.
Yes.
How much does it cost?
It's $147 and it's from 10 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah, such a deal. We have early bird pricing until tomorrow, and then it goes up to $197.
And late.
Which is still a deal. It's
It
like
is.
this is powerful work. Yeah.
So Lakewood is about 20 miles southwest of Los Angeles.
Okay.
So on a Saturday morning, it would take them 30 minutes. On a Monday, it would take them an hour and a half. You guys know traffic. Oh my God.
We do know traffic, although I have to say Chicago traffic does not even begin to compare to LA traffic.
I know.
Like when the first time I was stuck in traffic in LA, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Humbled. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
We ain't got nothing on you.
Yeah. I'd rather give it away, but nobody asked me.
Well,
So
we
yes,
have the
Jamie,
below zero temperature.
yes, you could keep that too. Jamie, we could yeah, if you have friends or colleagues who you think would be perfect for it, just send them our way. We would love to have them.
Thinking. In the meantime, I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Yes,
Aw,
yes.
thank you, honey. Thank you. so good to see your shining face on here. Is
Let me
that
think.
a Sally? Like a
Yes.
Sally Luck?
I think
She
she's
might
still
she might
muted.
not even be. I know. She may not even be able to, like, she's probably like driving right now. One of my girls from Chicago, and Jenny. I'm just gonna shout you out and say hello. I think we last saw each other in Florida as well at the mindset retreat, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and Asali just chatted in, "Hi honey, I don't have a mic." I thought that might be the case. I was like, girl, I know she'd be saying something if she could right now,
Whatever you say in the chat box, we will read aloud, Asali, so that your voice can
Right.
be heard.
And like whatever happens here is, it is so good to see you and hear you and experience your energy. Aw, thank you, Asali. It's so good to have you here. So good.
I think
Wow.
that's super cool. Anything else that we're missing? Let me think. That would be useful information to help people to kind of let go of some of the resistance to going. Because like I said, there's plenty of curiousness.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like when people are right on the tipping point of self-discovery. That's like the sweet spot for me. And I want to push them over the edge, but of course at their own, pace. But I think this is one where, just, and then, come on in, do what feels comfortable, and trust that you'll be able to handle what's thrown at you.
Oh my God, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is, this is something even that I learned as a belly dancer, right? We have so much fun doing this work together. Do you know what I mean? That I would just say, like, don't worry about it. Just come on in, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, if there's any other objections, questions.
I don't think so.
Spiritual advice. And Asali just shared too. I will, honey. She just said, "I'm so proud of you." Aw, I love you. So Asali and I are belly dancers from Chicago, and I first met her in 2008 when she came out and performed in a show that I was hosting. So cool. Such a beautiful, gorgeous dancer. I'm so proud of you. Oh, yes. And she just asked that I email the information. I will, absolutely, honey. And I'm happy to share that. And then, of course, as we share this video, there will be all kinds of yummy links and stuff. So if you want to learn more or perhaps join us in St. Petersburg, Florida in November or what have you. But California is right around the corner. That's
Woohoo!
Yeah. So any questions on, as we wrap up, any questions on passion, pleasure? You have me. Man, I'm in the room and you have my ear. I know. So anything that you're like, oh yeah.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I'll ask a question. What would be over the past couple of years, I haven't been with anybody who just.
Oh, dang it. It just froze. Really? No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you, Charisse.
Okay. Am I frozen?
You're not frozen.
Okay. So Jamie froze. I heard the first part of what she said. Oh, okay.
You're back.
I heard for the past few years, I haven't. I love it because that's where it always gets like, what? What have you not? No.
I haven't been attracted. I haven't been with anyone that I'm really attracted to. I want to be with someone I'm really attracted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you want to become a magnet, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I would ask is, how attracted are you feeling to yourself right now?
Oh, I just went through that really hard time, and I'm heavier than I wish I weren't. I didn't say that right.
I know. I
Yeah.
totally hear you, though. I like to say that I expand and contract like the universe.
Exactly.
And so, right, this is the challenge. Yes, is that we're constantly changing, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and how do we continue to appreciate and love ourselves? Because that's really it. So it's like when I love the cat walking across the screen, Jenny. I know. Mine was like earlier, she was like playing with my laptop. I was like, no, not now. And then Asali has a question. I saw your question, Asali, so we'll answer that as well. But so the trick is that if you want to awaken that attraction with someone, is like, how can I like coat myself with that being like so magnetic? And that, my love, is pleasure and passion. And that is like, what can you do to appreciate yourself, to love
I
yourself?
can't hear you. I can't
Oh,
hear you.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
shoot. Is everyone having that issue?
you're
No.
going in and out, at least for me. And
When you lean
Oh,
forward,
okay.
it's much louder.
Oh, okay. All right. So it must be, I bet it's my laptop. Okay. So the key is to love yourself up, right? Is to imbue yourself with pleasure. So often what happens is we fall into this cycle of like, the problem is with him, right? There are no good guys out there. I'm like fishing in the wrong pond, which it could also be, there's that as well. But it starts with you and like, what are your self-care practices so that you are like loving yourself up. So one of the resources, and it's right on my Facebook page, is I did a video on my shower tool, which many women refer to as like, now they think of me in the shower. But it is a way, and I so appreciate that. But it's something you do every day. And it's like, how can I take that practice and like so infuse it with pleasure that it feeds me, nourishes me, and it actually like makes you more attractive, right? And in this is so the shower tool in a nutshell is to like use the best stuff, only the stuff that you want to put on your skin, to take your time and really enjoy the feel of skin on skin and appreciate every inch of your body. So sometimes I'll choose, I'm like, today I'm going to appreciate my chin. I'm going to love my chin. I'm going to give her a little massage. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, and after the shower, I anoint my body with lotion, with oils, with essential oils. This is magical. The effect that it has on you is magical. It seems like, oh, why should this make a difference? But every time that you imbue yourselves with love, it's like, it like just ratchets up your energy. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and the sun's going down here, so I'm seeing like the light is dimming. Let me see if I'm going to turn on some lights. But does that help? Is that helpful,
Mhm.
Jamie?
That's brilliant. So I assume, Charisse, that you saw Asali's question, which
Yes.
is, what do you do if you work a full-time draining job?
Such a good
Da da
question.
da
Okay.
da.
I know. Such an excellent question. Because, like, who doesn't find themselves in situations where they're like, this is not energetically optimal? So, this is what I did when I was in corporate. I would take dance breaks in the bathroom. I kid you not. I would, because it's like I was in the cubicle all day long. And so here's the thing, right? So we start off the energy, we start off the day with like our full cups of energy, right? And it starts right first thing. This is all about energy management, which is really about how we lead and love in the world, right? It's all about energy management. So throughout the day, this can be declining. How do we keep filling it up? Don't save your self-care pleasure practices for like when you get home or just when you go to the spa day, or just when you do the massage. It's actually something that you want to do all throughout the day. So I actually wrote a book about this very topic, Everyday Pleasure. You can download it on my website. And it's 52 ways to add pleasure to your day without adding to your to-do list. It's like the whole idea is, what are you already doing? So like the shower tool, great, is a good example. What are you already doing where you can bring in pleasure, where you can bring in fun, where you can bring in play so that you can refill your cup? Because the thing is that like, there's the larger question of like, do you want to keep being in that draining situation, right? But let's just address, like, let's just pretend that we're in a vacuum and like, you've got to go to that job every day, right? Which many of us are in that situation of like, right now, this is the reality. Yeah. And so how do I manage that? And the answer is like, keep refilling your cup like it's your job, because it's your job. And the thing is that more like we're meant to serve from our overflow, not from that like rapidly depleting cup. And unfortunately, so many of us just keep serving, and the cup keeps going down, 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 down. And before you know it, we're just like from a dry well trying to take care of our environment. And then we feel drained, exhausted, irritated, impatient, so the trick is, what are the ways that you can like lubricate your day? So like one of my emergency measures, I know you can take that as literally as you like. And I do also recommend practicing daily O vitamins. I will say that as well. Like, how can we add pleasure? O vitamins, by the way, are orgasms, just in case you were wondering. It was so cute because I did an interview, or like I was doing a video for a group, and like one young woman in the circle was like, oh, vitamins. She's like Googling it to like figure out what O vitamins are. Like, what awesome capsule or, supplement do I need to take? I'm like, oh no, honey, you have like all the keys are right here. But now, of course, you can't necessarily do that, but you can do before and afterward, right? You can call up a friend that you know energizes you and like lifts you up and makes you happy. Like, there's so many things that we can do. Like, one of my go-tos is I have my Get Happy playlist, right? A list of songs that I know if I just hear this song, I'm going to immediately feel better and immediately start refilling that cup. And dance breaks are freaking awesome. Like, do not underestimate the power of a good dance break, because we get out of our head and into our body. And that's where like, all like the keys are right here. I hope that's helpful. Did that answer your question? So spot on about the dance breaks, right? And you're a dancer, love. So like, this is totally like so natural for you. Yeah.
You said some things right now, Sharice, that I think I took a few notes because I don't want to forget them. But I like that we are meant to serve from overflow and not a dry well.
Yeah.
That one really resonates because, we always think when my cup is empty, but literally, we always think that we just serve regardless of whether or not we have a full cup or a half full cup or an empty cup. And the concept is really, after yours is full, then you're able to give even that much more. And so I think that one really resonated with me.
Yeah. And then it's easy. Like, that's the thing. Then it isn't like this effort, right?
Yeah.
Like, like I know that I'm depleted if I'm like efforting with my kid. Like, in fact, and they'll know it. They'll be like, Mom, when was the last time that you had something to eat? I'll be like, what does that have to do with anything? I'm like, so they so know me so well. And when we are like also properly nourished with at every level, right? Then it's so easy. It's so easy. And then it's like with our full radiant selves. So it's like, whoa, the impact that we can have is 5, 10, 20. I talked about this in my Facebook Live earlier this evening. I just talked about how when I was serving from that empty cup, when I was like struggling in my first marriage and not taking care of myself at all, like self-care, it was non-existent. I wasn't doing anybody any favors. Like I thought I was doing it for them. I thought, and to be honest, the more self-care I do, the better a mother I've been, the
Mhm.
better a friend I've been, the better a teacher I was. I mean, it's like it just on every level, a better wife, a better lover, a better partner, a better person. We really aren't, we're not meant to be depleted. And yet we get a lot of messages as well. Like I don't really blame us for going there because, we're taught like that, selfless, tireless, which is a total myth, by the way, like, tirelessly serving and that's like a positive. Actually, no, that means that we gotta cross boundaries.
Yes,
And where do you need to say no, right? So,
I love it.
but
Thank you.
oh,
Thank you
you're
for
so
that.
very welcome.
And also, thank you for taking some time out to share your knowledge, your passion, because of course it just comes right through. I mean, your energy is just infectious, and I love it. I'm gonna ride a high as I go off to dinner. Um,
Me too.
and and I definitely look forward to hosting you July 22nd here in Southern California for the Passion Cure. We're going to call it the Passion Cure California. And that I will also, I've recorded this, so I will post the video. I will share it with you. I will share it with Facebook and any other people who are interested, so that they can invite friends and have them come and join either in California or one of your other tour stops.
Right.
Yes. So thank you all for coming. And if you have something to say, Jamie, you're more than welcome.
Love you.
Love you too. Mwah. So much love to everyone in the room. And and Asali says, thanks, ladies. So I always close my videos in my circles with, and I learned this in a women's circle, from my heart to yours. I love you. Take what you need and pass it on.
Thank you.
I hope to see you online or in person very, very soon. Thank you, Kim, for hosting me. And
You're
thank you to
welcome.
all of the ladies who joined us. That was awesome.
That's awesome.